Pokemon. The first ones were red and blue. And in those games, some stuff happens. Namely, at the beginning, there's this kid named Red. And he's a kid and a boy. And he heads on out from his house. Because it's time for him to get his super cool Pokemon. Which is like a monster thing that can do stuff. So he goes to the professor. The professor's not there. So he goes somewhere else. There's not very many places to go in this little pallet town. So he goes north. And he's about to enter the tall grass when suddenly an old geezer yells at him and says, "No, you stupid idiot, don't go in there. That's dangerous. That's super dangerous. You can fucking die if you go in there. Don't do it." So Red's like, "Oh, okay." And the geezer, who turns out is the professor, Mr. Professor Oak, takes him to his lab. He's like, yo. Okay, this is my grandson. He's Blue. What's up? Pick up Pokemon. You first though, Red. And Blue's like, "What the heck?" And Professor Oak is like, shut up, kid. So Red picks a Pokemon. It doesn't matter which one. Just pretend like it's the one that you like. And then Blue picks the one that's strong against it. And then you fight, and you could win. Or Red could win, or Red could lose. Either way, Blue still says, "Smell you later," and leaves with his cool theme music. So then Professor Oak is like, shit, kid. So I got a package, and I delivered it to the wrong address. Could you go to the town up north and grab it for me? And Red's like, okay. So Red goes up north, and he gets the box, and he comes back to Professor Oak, and he's like, "Here you go, here's your box." He's like, sick. Here's a Pokedex. Also, here's some balls. Go away. So then Red goes away. And then, so Red goes back up to Viridian City, and then turns out there's nothing to do there except for like an old man is like passed out drunk in the street, which is kind of cool. So he just kind of steps over that guy, avoids that whole thing. There is a building labeled gym here, but it's locked, and so he just leaves. Red just goes further north, and he gets into the forest. There's like a bunch of kids that are like catching really weak bugs, and Red just kind of plows through them all. And then he gets to Pewter City. And in Pewter City, he finds another building labeled gym. This one's got a couple of kids that he just kind of sneaks past. It's not really even sneaking. But then he goes up to Brock, and Brock's like, "Yo, I'm so hard right now." And Red's like, "What?" And Brock's like, "Fight me, kid." And then they fight. And Red wins. Then he leaves. Then he goes to a big cave, a big mountain cave, a big cave through a mountain called Mount Moon. And in there, he meets some bad hombres, some people calling themselves Team Rocket, who are just kind of dicks. They're just kind of dicks. And so then he gets a little further, and there's this big fat nerd, this little scrawny fella. He's just like, "Back up, buddy." And he fights Red, and Red's like, "Oh no," and Red beats him. And then he's like, "Oh, fine, you can have one of these fossils. I was going to take both of them, but you can take one, I guess." So Red picks up a fossil and then walks away. So he gets through Mount Moon. It's crazy, honestly, super crazy. Then he gets to Cerulean City. And then he sees that there is a house that has been robbed. But the cops won't let him in, so he just leaves. So he goes, there's a bridge, and he's like, "I want to see what's over there." And so he starts crossing it. But then the second he steps 1 foot on it, and Blue shows up, and he's like, "Haha, nerd, I'm going to fight you." And so Red beats Blue again, and Blue's like, "Oh, this sucks. Bye." And so Blue leaves, and then Red's like, "Okay, now I go see what's on across that bridge." And so he starts crossing the bridge, and then the second he steps foot on it, some girl fights him. She's like, "This is Nugget Bridge. You gotta fight all 5 of us to get across." And Red's like, "Ugh." So he fights the next one, fights the next one, fights the next one, fights the next one. They give him a gold nugget. It's crazy. And then the guy's like, "Oh, since you beat me and you've proven that you are so powerful and strong and cool and epic, but you join Team Rocket." And Red's like, and then he walks away. And he sees a little cave over there, but he goes to it, and a guy's like, "You're weak. Get out of here." And I was like, "Okay, I wonder what that was about." So then he keeps going. and he finds a house. He goes in the house, and it's like science and stuff, and there's a Pokemon, a Clefairy or something, and it's like, yo! And Red's like, oh god. And then the Clefairy's like, my name's Bill. I'm a smart guy, but I accidentally goofed it up a little bit. So, please press that button when I go in the pod. And so he goes in the pod, and Red's like, this one? Beep. And then the other pod opens, and a guy comes out, and he's like, oh, thank you. You saved my bacon. Here, take this cruise ship ticket. So Red takes it and goes, okay, bye. So Red leaves, and he notices that when he goes on the computer next, it says Bill's PC instead of someone's PC, and that was kind of weird. But anyways, he goes to the gym, he fights Misty, she's wet, he beats her. Bada bing, bada bang. He goes to that wrecked up house, they give him the ability to dig big holes, and he leaves. But then he gets to a place called Vermilion City, okay? And in Vermilion City, he's trying to get to the gym, but is blocked by a small tree that he cannot get past. So, naturally, this is where the cruise ship is stationed. Let's go! He gets on the boat, and he just kind of pilfers through everybody's stuff. He goes through every single cabin on the whole goddamn boat and steals everything and fights people, and he's just generally a terror. Honestly, he kind of needs to be stopped, if I'm being real with you. So then he continues, and he gets to a staircase, and then who would show up but Blue? And he's like, ugh, the goddamn captain of the boat is a freaking baby boy. Fight me. And then you fight Blue, and you beat him again. Or Red, not you. Red beats him again. And then Red goes up the stairs, and there's like the captain, and he's like, bleh. He keeps throwing up everywhere. And so Red naturally walks up behind him and starts giving him a sensual massage on the back. And the captain's like, oh god. Wait, you're a kid. Oh, jeez. Don't ever tell anybody about this. Take this CD. So he gives him the ability to cut stuff. And so then Red leaves, and as soon as he steps off the boat, it starts going off. It's just gone. It was very conveniently timed. Like, all this stuff is crazy. So then he goes to that little tree, and he cuts it down. And then he goes in the gym, and he solves the most bullshit puzzle ever invented. It's literally just a game of chance. You just have to keep walking around and poking your hand in these disgusting garbage bins until you finally press two buttons, but they randomly swap around if you press something. And it's just... And he fights Lieutenant Surge, who's American, but there's no America in Pokemon, so I don't know what that's about. He beats him, and then he gets to a cave called Diglett's Cave. And that's kind of cool, I guess. So then he goes back to Cerulean, and then he takes a different turn. And he goes through a rocky tunnel, which leads to a place called Lavender Town. And in Lavender Town, there is a very scary, very large tower. And in this tower is where people buried the bodies of dead Pokemon. And it's honestly just an overall very spooky experience. And Red is, he's doing so good. He climbs the tower, but he can't. He gets the second to top floor. And then who shows up but Blue? And he's like, oh, I'm not scared or anything, but there's a fucking ghost up there, man. You should probably leave. And so you leave. But not before seeing the ghost for yourself. And yeah, there's a fucking ghost up there, man. It's crazy. So then you leave because you're not qualified to fight ghosts. Red's not qualified to fight ghosts. I'm sorry. And so then Red makes a detour to Celadon. He goes through another tunnel and gets to Celadon City. And this is where he develops a horrible gambling addiction. He gets some sick, cool Pokemon on the black market from his gambling wins. So then there's a gym here, and he goes to the gym, and there's a creepy guy outside, and he's like, this gym is full of beautiful women. And so Red goes inside, and he fights Erica, and beats her, and that's pretty much it. And I guess that's like basically like the first half of the game. So tune in next time when we talk about the other half of it. Goodbye.